Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear Workshop. My name is Pat Bear. I'm here to build a Lego set and to hang out with all of you. I'm throwing the Bear Cave, the Lego, the site, the emote in the chat. If you're currently a subscriber, you can throw those emotes into the chat as well, or you can just say hi, or you can choose to use other emotes or remain silent and just be a lurker. That's cool. Sparkle Kiss gave a follow before the stream really kicked off, so we thank you for that. Arctic Sloth mentioned that throw in the emotes. Lord Crash did throw in some emotes. Hello, hello. Arctic Sloth saying, Pat, your neighbor has a boat. I think you can next door them and still be morally okay. This is a reference to a tweet I made. So look, it's a motorboat. This is a boat. It's a small little boat with a motor on there. This is it's a toy boat. Ghost Valve's here. Welcome. And by toy I mean like it's a small boat. Not that it is a toy. It is a real boat, but it's like a 2-person boat with whatever. Ghost Valve just subscribed with Prime. That's 11 months, saying almost a year. Thank you so much. We're gonna hit the applause for that. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that. And also got to hit the applause again for Lashbrook, who has subscribed with Twitch Prime for 53 months on a 53-month streak. That is so many months. Yes, the S3 plan. Oh, wait, that's a 5. Yeah, no, that is not S3. Thank you both so much. We're now at 38 subscribers out of 40. As always, folks, the goal is 50, but we do reasonable things. I would like to get to 40. 40 generally means I'll get a payout. Sometimes it's got to be adjusted, but it generally means we'll be okay with a monthly payout. So yeah, new goal, get to 40. Arctic Sloth wants me to hit the ska button. I will hit that ska button. And then Lord Crashington also wants me to hit the ska button, so... Some reggae ska right there, some reggaeton. None of this ska punk stuff. There'll be more of that in future months, of course. Thank you so much again to Ghost Valve and Lashbrook for using your Prime Gaming token on little old me. I appreciate it very much. ABS always be skanking, or skying, not skanking. I can't really skank in chair, but you get it. Anyway, yeah, my neighbor's got a small boat, and he was, I believe, vacuuming it at like 7 o'clock, and he was detailing his boat for about an hour, and that sucked because he's right next door. Dirty just gifted 1 tier sub to What the Farios. Thank you so much for that. And thank you very much, Dirty, for that gifted sub. Welcome to the gift sub leaderboard. And, of course, welcome aboard What the Pharaohs or Farios. I don't remember how to say your name, and I apologize. Also, we got a hype train activated, so if you've been like collecting bits, if you want to be that, like, if you want to donate a subscription, a gifted sub, if you want to subscribe, now would be a great time to do it, because now we've got a hype train going. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. We're on a hype train. I'm going to turn my mic down a little bit here. In the immortal words of Trin Garitano, choo-choo, motherfuckers. And of course, Sparkly Kiss throwing in an emote, which I appreciate. Welcome. Hello, friend. I'm happy to have you here. All right. So I'm going to reply to my tweet, and try to get a few more friends to join us tonight. And then we're going to start working on some Lego and general conversation and hanging out, because that's also nice to do. Just ask your neighbor if you can take a selfie with a boat to the Lonely Island song. There you go. That is an option. Overhead camera, great. Lego, you can see here, we've got our Lego friend here. Lego friend has a helmet, or you can have hair. You can't have both. But I went with the so far. Of course, if I decide to put our minifig in the vehicle when it's done, we're working on the CR8. That's the futuristic one. That's the race one. we'll probably put the helmet on because safety first. But right now, just holding the helmet, which I don't know, I just like. We'll put that right there and see him. And then we'll start getting together. So this kit is 2 sets, not 2 sets in one. It's 2 different cars, but in the same box. So which is fun. Dirty says just under 4 hours till the new Lego game unlocks. Yeah, the new Lego Star Wars game. I'm hearing very good things. People seem pretty psyched about it. Of course, you'll start hearing it on podcasts this week because I'm sure if you listen to podcasts where they talk about modern video games and they get the latest stuff, or if they review games, you'll start to hear about, I'm sure, from those folks. So I am looking forward to hearing about them games. Let's see. I hope things got better for the devs. Yes, me as well. And we got to, yeah, you can say pervert. That's fine. Automod's doing its auto thing, which I appreciate. No pressure, but as a car pervert, this stream is helping me decide if I can settle for Lego kit building instead of the more expensive car model kits. Well, Arctic Sloth, I'll say this. This is the Speed Champions line, the Speed Champions line is great. Now, some of these cars, they're not perfect, right? They're not going to be like one-to-one, not one-to-one, but like perfect recreations of it. But I do think they look very cool. The decals are all real nice. They always look good. I do think it is very funny that I'm going to put a Sirius XM sticker on this vehicle because obviously as a sponsor, that they went that far to have the actual sponsor be available. Maybe it was part of the negotiations on either side. I don't know, but I do find that humorous that they're like, it's like, oh yeah, it's got to be authentic. So you gotta have the Sirius XM sign on the vehicle. But yeah, I enjoy this Speed Champions line. I think the cars are always cool looking, and I do like this kind of double thing they do with like older and newer vehicles. We've done another set of these before, and I find that a cool idea. So we'll say that. We got about a minute left on this level 1 hype train, which is cool. Choo-choo is and all. So if you are thinking about jumping in with a subscription or anything like that, now would be a great time. Hey, we just got raided by Bad Gunpla raiding with a party of 21. It is a bad gun raid indeed. Welcome, raiders. Hello, everybody. Let me go to this right here. First off, hello, Jason. Hello, crew. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Pat Baer. I build model kits and Lego sets. Tonight, I happen to be building a Lego set, but I just started it. So we'll go back to that. But yeah, and Arctic Sloth just gifted a bunch of subs, which is fantastic. Thank you so much, Arctic Sloth. I appreciate that. And then Lord Crashington cheered some bits. We got to hit some applause here. We got to do some applause. Thank you for that. And then, of course, also we got some bits. So, cha-ching. So we got to hit the cha-chings. Folks, if you were... I have a Stream Deck, and it's for transitions and also sound effects, because that works. Hello. So yeah, so I just started a Lego set. It is a double set on the Speed Champions line. So we've got 2 Corvettes here. We've got the C8.R, which we're starting with, and then we also have the 69 Corvette. Nice. Also, I mentioned a soundboard. Some of my channel points are tied to the soundboard. So when people spend 2,500 channel points, I do this. Zionic Gunpla, thank you for the follow. PG Name, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Yeah, and every month I have a different song that is a Creative Commons not fair use, but allowed within Creative Commons for me to play, and I won't get like hit with a DMCA, and I just rotate through every month, pick a different ska song. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, the basic silly idea for that is just, that's right. We've got to adjust here. We have to increase this because of the gifted subs, which is rad. Thank you so much. We're now into our next goal, which is we are at 44 out of 45 subscribers. And if you're like, Pat, what do you mean? I thought your goal was 40. The goal is 50. But if I put 36 out of 50, that's not motivating. Getting to the next hump in the way, a next getting to the next goal, I should say. Yeah, getting to the next goal and keeping them reasonable goals seems to psychologically work for y'all. And is that shitty? Probably. There was a guy that I used to watch that was a Hearthstone streamer, and I've mentioned this before, but he would do a thing where he would be like, oh, we're at 45 out of 46 subscribers, and he would just constantly add a number to it, and people seem to like that and also dislike that, and I that always felt a little like, I don't know if I like that. But yeah, so the next goal is 45. That's what I'm trying to say. If we don't hit it tonight, that's okay, because you're all been very generous and kind, and I appreciate it. I may get this Speed Champion set. Yeah, I like these. This is the second one I've done of this, like, you get 2 kits. I've also built a few, like modern race cars. They're just, the whole kit is just one car. But I like these, like, dual cars. You like the red parts. Yeah. No, that's funny. Yeah, I find I'm not trying to take advantage of y'all, and I appreciate it. But at the same time, I do want to get, having subscribers is good. When the numbers go up, it does make me feel better than when the numbers are low. And that's not super healthy, but that's the reality that I'm in right now, where I'm just like, oh, the numbers are going up. Great. If I know that in this month I will get a payout because I am over the threshold of $100 to get a monthly payout, that means I can buy model kits with that money, and that's great for me. You make mocks so the red part's up. Oh, okay. Oh, I get that. All right. Numbers go up. Neuron activation. Yeah. I mean, why do we know why clickers exist. Clickers exist because you get, the clicker style game is probably like, it's the healthier version of the gachapon style game, the gacha games, because gachas are, in my opinion, very unhealthy in that it's just the gamble reward, whereas clickers, occasionally some clickers have depth. Most clickers have 0 depth, but instantaneous rewards for very little work, especially when you cheat in them. So I think those definitely help out. We always gamble on something. We did hit the hype train, which is fun. Thank you everybody that donated bits, coins, or subscribed or gifted subs. That's all very kind of you, and I appreciate it very much. You got a new emote. Nice. Lego is tricky. So I always recommend to people that are like, I want to do some like fun Lego stuff, right? I always say the Ninjago line, or Ninjago. I think it's Ninjago, but I always say Ninjago, which is again probably wrong. But that line there, because that's just Lego's own creation. You get like cool dragons, you get some mechs, you get like samurai and ninja stuff, and it's really fantastical and cool. And you don't have to pay like the Star Wars tax or the licensing fee, because the licensing fees get pushed on to us consumers. So like Lego stuff is going to be sometimes twice as much. And I do like building Lego of Star Wars stuff, don't get me wrong. But if you're buying a lot of Lego, that line is fantastic. Yes, it's also huge for them. So I built so many cool, weird sets in that line that were really fun. Lots of very fun dragons and motorcycles and mechs and all kinds of stuff. I have seen the trash compactor. Yes, the Star Wars stuff. I mean, I mostly like building the ships. I have a lot of fun vehicles. I've built a lot over the years here on this channel. I haven't built any Star Wars Lego in a while because they've been focusing on the very large ones. Also, it is always a sad fact that Denmark has to pay so much money. The place where Lego was founded, their import fees are astronomical for Lego, and that's a real shame. Whereas here in the United States, I'm not paying a lot for it. Yeah, the dioramas. Yeah, the dioramas are cute as well. I do like those. Occasionally, I'll like look at the ideas ones. I've never the one Lego style that I haven't built that I'd really be interested in building, and in the future would be I would like to do one of the pop-up books, like the pop-up books. It looks like a book, and you open it up, and it's all made out of Lego, and it's got some movement and life to it. Those are fantastic looking, and I've never built one. I would like to do that at some point because they just look really cool, and I think they'd be fun to do on stream. Okay, thanks so much for stopping in, folks. As always, you should check out Bad Gunpla because Jason does good work and does model kit stuff that like I'm always impressed with. And then occasionally I'm like, why did you do that? Whoops, what happened here? Sorry. Let's see. I need. There we go. And good. There we go. Shout out to Bad Gunpla. I got to make that easier for me to do. I don't have an easy shortcut for that command. But yeah, and of course, Jason is the organizer of the Plastic Model Weekender, which I am taking part in. It will be the last weekend of April and the first day of May, an international affair. And one thing that I do enjoy very much, because it was a thing that before last year I didn't know this was a thing, because I'm not really deep in the particular streaming subculture and all that of VTubers. I didn't know that there were like a bunch of like multiple VTubers who do model kits. It just didn't occur to me, and of course it should have, because there's all kinds of different people enjoy the hobby, and there's all kinds of different people that do cool streams. It should have known, and I didn't. And I think that's really cool. So I love that there are some VTubers involved in the hobby as well. Harold just subscribed tier 1. That's 53 months. 51, just one away from a whole year. Get the applause there. Thank you so much, Harold, for that. We'll get a little more applause. I hit the button too fast there. There we go. Harold, thank you so much for that subscription. I appreciate renewing it. 53 months is so many months. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. That's the most amount of months, because Harold is a day one. He's a day oneer. So that is the most months that you can subscribe, which is just ridiculous. It's also great for me to know how long I've been streaming. I can keep track when it's time for Harold to renew. But yeah, the Plastic Model Weekender is happening at the end of this month. I'm very excited about it because it'll be a good time. I got myself a high grade from several years ago. I won't say exactly what it is, except that it is a Bandai kit. It is a mobile suit. It is not a Gundam, and it is not a humanoid form of a robot. And I am excited about that because that is just going to be fun. That's going to be a fun thing for me to build. We're doing one of my favorite things in Lego. I always bring this up, but it's important because it's so fun. Is these pieces that you will not see when the kit is completed are a fun color. Is that like, you know, some people say, oh, you know, they do that because they know how many extra pieces they have, and this is just using those pieces. Other people say it's a fun surprise that only, you know, when you put this on your shelf, you know that there's some fun, funky colors in there. Maybe it's both. Maybe it started one way, and they were like, oh, this will be fun, and then we're like, wait, this is also good for us. I don't know. I don't have the answers to that. But I do know that I think it looks neat when that happens. Imagine their specific car parts. Yes, you can just kind of imagine their layered, cool car parts. I figured it was a cost thing somehow. Yeah, I mean, Lashbrook, it's totally possible that, like, they needed this for a big run, and then they had a lot of these left, and they were like, oh, we can use that in this when we're developing it. Because these can be basically any color. There are folks out there that they kind of design their own Lego. They use the Lego Brickit app. Other people do it just themselves, and you can get a kit that basically has all the pieces, and then has like a PDF instruction book. And those folks buy parts, and they know, okay, well, this is an internal part, so it can be any color. So that's actually tricky when you get into those kits, because you'll get something and you'll be like, it's a 1x2 and it's red. I don't have any red 1x2s. Oh, but it's an internal piece, so it can just be any color. And then you have to kind of figure out which one it was supposed to be, and that can actually get tricky. So you might use the wrong piece. I don't have a lot of experience with those. I've done it a few times. I haven't done it in a stream. I wonder. Oh yeah, that's something I certainly could think about doing on stream. Would be doing one of those kind of kits, like a specialty kit. I could definitely that's definitely something I could investigate. I don't know for sure. I do want to say a little bit here about some video game news, because we do talk about gaming stuff. Now, I know there's some folks here in the chat that are around my age, and so you probably saw the tweets about it. The announcement of Return to Monkey Island, which is a direct follow-up to Monkey Island 2. And it is being developed by Ron Gilbert of Monkey Island fame. It is being published by Devolver Digital with support from Lucasfilm Games, because of course they would need it. And he's been talking about that for over 10 years, like a very long time. And I don't know if it's been full 20, but he's been talking about, like, I know what I would do with it. I would need the rights back, or I would need access to the rights. I don't know how that would work and all that. And I guess that's a partnership, with like Lucasfilm Games being cool, because they're of course owned by Disney. So we saw John Drake out there being excited about it, which he would be excited about that, of course. I don't remember the fourth game, but the third game is good, so I don't want to take away from that. But yeah, the idea that Ron Gilbert is going to be able to continue making Monkey Island that's just neat. I just think that's cool. I'm excited to find that out. That was a pleasant surprise. Apparently they've been working on it, because it's coming out this year, 2022. So people have been working on it for a while there, and that's awesome. I hope that it rules. And Devolver feels like a good home for that project, so that's cool. In other news, we'll get a little political here and talk about Wargaming, the studio that brings you World of War stuff. World of Warplanes, World of Tanks, World of... what's the other one? It's not ships. I don't remember what it is. But anyway, the war people, the World of Tanks people, they have basically said, warships. Thank you, Dirty. Warships, because of course, warplanes. They're not going to be doing... they're not going to be operating out of Russia and Belarus anymore. For a little bit of context, the company was founded in Belarus. And I believe they moved to Cyprus in the 2010s. I don't remember exactly when, but they moved their headquarters to Cyprus. But yeah, that was where they started. They have studios in Belarus and Russia, and basically they took one of their studios that's in there. I believe that is called, or that is in Russia, called Lesta Studio. And Lesta Studio is going to handle, like, the games are still going to be available if you own it, and probably in the future. And they're like, yeah, we're basically giving up rights to our games to this other company that will now not be part of our group in Russia. And then and basically said, yeah, we expect this to be bad for us financially, but the right thing to do. That was really interesting. Again, as a company that was founded in Belarus, that's, yeah, pretty surprising. Didn't necessarily see that coming, since they are so tied to that and very popular in Russia. So that was interesting to see that announcement come out today. And who knows exactly what's going to go on with all of that. All right, we're gonna put this here. I don't have a lot of comment on that. I have never played a world game. There was a PAX West where they had a tank they basically rented a parking lot, like an outdoor parking lot, and had a tank there just driving around, and I think Red Bull or something. And it was just loud and annoying when you were like trying to walk around it wasn't in the convention center, thankfully, but it was around, and I remember that being annoying. That's my big interaction with that. And like, I don't know, there's a couple YouTubers that I watch who have had World of Tanks and World of Warships sponsorships. So I have, kind of through osmosis seen some of it. But yeah, I don't have a huge comment on that. But that was just interesting to me. That felt like okay. Surprising. And maybe for other people it's not surprising. They were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But to me it was just like, wow. All right. Will it be a trend? Even more so. Who knows? Let's see. Other things we can talk about tonight. WrestleMania was this weekend. I did not watch any of it live, but I have been following along through conversations with people and through watching some YouTube people that I follow that cover wrestling. And look, I can't turn off my nostalgia. I can acknowledge my nostalgia. I can be aware of my own nostalgia, but it's very hard to ignore it. I was born in 1980, which means that for me, rock and wrestling was something that I was a young child for rock and wrestling, and then I got out of wrestling, and then I got back into wrestling during the Attitude Era and the NWO era, because like 96 to 99, I was 16 to 19. It was like fucking perfect. And it was, the Attitude Era still resonates with me. It's like a great time to be a wrestling fan, a great time to be in love with wrestling. So like Stone Cold Steve Austin giving stunners to announcers who he should theoretically like, and people that, just to whoever, because, and people doing terrible, either incredibly funny or incredibly poor selling of the move. Like I'm gonna pop for that. I'm gonna love that. I am aware that is playing to my own nostalgia and makes me feel young again. But yeah, I mean, same thing. Like, I shed a couple tears when Edge came back, because Edge was in the Rumble a few years ago, and I was like, holy, it's Edge. Like, what? Like, I don't remember the Brood. Like, like at various, I don't know. It does something. Whereas some people were like, oh, Damian Priest working with Edge, it's the new Brood. And I'm like, no. This is clearly that Damian Priest is an Edge head. Either Damian Priest is an Edge head, or Edge is rebuilding Mi Familia, his stable with the Guerreros, Chavo and Vicky, and the Edgeheads. But clearly Damian Priest is now an Edgehead. That's great. There were some wild stunners from Austin. Yes. It probably says a lot that I heard most of about the gimmick matches. I mean, Lashbrook, that's what you would hear about, right? Like, you're probably not going to hear about the three-way fight for the Raw men's tag team titles, right? But you are going to hear about Wee Man body slamming Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn being hit by the giant high five hands and being pinned via giant mouse trap. Like, you're probably going to hear about that more than you're going to hear about, or Logan Paul doing a very good frog splash, a somehow very good frog splash that does make me unhappy that he did. Logan Paul had a very good showing. He sucks shit, but he had a very good showing at WrestleMania. He definitely did not embarrass himself. That makes me sad. I love that for the replay they added the McMahon stunner to look good. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, that stunner was tremendously terrible. And then he took a bad setup to the stunner, and then he took a bad fix of the setup to the stunner, and then he took a bad stunner, and it was like worse than the last time, like than the famous bad stunner sell on his part, like the first time he got stunned. Yeah, it was bad. I'm sad that they edited it because, come on, live with your mistakes. In this case, mistakes being how poorly you did on that. Because, I mean, Pat Pat, SmackDown Pat over there, spitting his beer in the air like a fountain as he went down. Beautiful. So good. Byron Saxton the previous night sold really well. The stunner, just good stuff. Good stuff all around. Of course, Austin Theory did a rock style, overdone jump, which I appreciate still, because you gotta sell for the man. Yeah, I mean, Arctic Sloth, look, did Logan Paul ever hold the ring rope? No. Was there about a minute where he was at the wrong corner? Yes. But when he got physical, it didn't look bad. The leg didn't look, the pin attempt didn't look good, but his offense did look good, and he sold where he needed to sell, and I think he had a pretty strong showing. It wasn't an embarrassment. He joins the ranks of Snooki as, okay, which is good. That's where you want to be. You as a celebrity, you want to be. And you got above that, like Stephen Amell, where you're like, oh, all right. And Johnny Knoxville was maybe in Stephen Amell territory. We're like, okay. Johnny Knoxville Johnny Knoxville is more busted than up than most wrestlers. So a lot can be forgiven for Knoxville. I will say Wee Man's punches were pretty great. He had a good fury going there. Also, Wee Man had a WrestleMania shirt where he blacked out the letters so it just said Wee Man, and that's very good. That's a good idea. And of course, the top is Bad Bunny, who is legitimately a good wrestler, who has more presence and showmanship in the ring, working with the right people, of course, than some people that are signed to contracts at either big company. Of course, again, Bad Bunny is working with very talented people that are making him look great, but he also is just good. He's a celebrity in the Royal Rumble where you're like, yeah, that works. Sure. I don't know. It's pleasantly surprising. Becky Bianca was probably my match of the weekend. If I can take myself out of nostalgia, that's what it is. It was probably the worst interaction between Brock and Reigns. Usually are better than that, and I definitely was disappointed. I was hoping they were gonna do a better showing. It was a lot shorter than it needed to be. That one was pretty disappointing. The New Day just getting completely squashed. It's frustrating in general, specifically, and then also when you take in the fact that Butch is just a loudmouth, annoying character that just makes me mad because Pete Dunne is a brutal wrestler that should be in the ring and not wearing a hat outside the ring like that. Get that man a shirt. I saw him as Roman definitely must have come in hurt. I mean, of course, I don't know this. I can't tell you. But he must have been working injured there because that match wasn't what I thought it would be. And may have led to the reason why the Pat McAfee Austin Theory match was so long. Because that match wasn't long, but the McMahon Pat McAfee match was long. And I literally can't believe that Pat McAfee has 50-50 booking at WrestleMania in the same night. His undefeated streak ended immediately after it started. And that felt unnecessary in my opinion, but whatever. I'm just a dude. I didn't need to see Vince McMahon in there kicking a football into the body of Pat McAfee. That seems unnecessary for old SmackDown Pat. But yeah. Also, the thing is, having Vince McMahon in the ring means that Vince McMahon was not in the ears of Michael Cole for once, and that must have been very liberating for Michael Cole to be able to call that match without having to hear his boss tell him things to say. But yeah, that was overall. Charlotte Ronda was a real fucking stinker. I am not a fan of Ronda Rousey as a professional wrestler or as a human. And I am not a fan of the way Charlotte has been booked in WWE for the past 5 years. But that match felt like it was a waste of Ronda winning the Rumble, the Women's Rumble. For it to be that. Felt very bad, and they didn't do any favors by being on the same night as Becky and Bianca, and Bianca's big fucking long-term storytelling, booking win, her comeback win there. It was real good. Seems extremely self-indulgent for Vince and 100% appropriate for who that man is. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the night where he just was like, hey, and again, remember The Undertaker. Here's The Undertaker. And all that. Going back to the Hall of Fame, I've watched clips of the Hall of Fame. I am so surprised and pleasantly surprised with the fantastically lovely, just like brother love, not brother love the manager, but brotherly love between the Steiners. Just like Scott Steiner had a live microphone at a WWE event, and just seemed to just be real grateful to be there, and it was real nice. That dude has been very open about his feelings about that company, and it was real nice. It's just some good bros, some good brothers talking. That was sweet. I thought that was real good. And Vader's family were lovely. That was real nice. Saw a couple friends I know who were there getting some Vader merch. It's cool. I don't particularly... what's this? I appreciate that Cody Rhodes, and I didn't see the promo tonight, but I know Cody was there doing his promo. So here's my thing, right? In general, I don't love the thing where Cody Rhodes is playing like the All-American, but it's not like a heel. He's playing as a face, but there's not like a take on it. It's just him being like, what if I watched The Boys and didn't understand what the show was about and just thought it was cool? Like that kind of thing that's going on for him. I don't love that at all. In fact, I openly despise that. But because I do think that it's very cool that Cody Rhodes is taking the heat from being the, and whoever ends up going to WWE eventually from AEW, because it'll happen because they're not renewing contracts for some of their early people. And if Marco Stunt shows up at NXT, yeah, he'll get shit from people, but he won't get as much shit. And if people decide to, on their terms, not renew their contracts and go to WWE, they will get less shit because Cody is absorbing all of it, because this is the guy that helped found the company, who said he was the most vocal about being mad about WWE. He's the guy that took a sledgehammer to a throne as like, a big state, and made a bunch of big bullshit statements that he's going to take a lot of the shit. And I appreciate that he's going to take a lot of shit to make it easier for people to just get good contracts and go where they want to go and do what they want to do. So that I do appreciate him for that. And also WWE is in a position where they need to treat Cody with some respect for a while, because if the first, it's not a defection, but whatever, defection is goes poorly, that is bad for the people they do want to sign in the future, like your MJFs, folks that they do want to have under contract in the future for some point. There are a few other people that it sounds like they're certainly interested in as well. MJF seems to be the biggest one. But there are other people that they would certainly like to get at some point. I haven't seen tonight's promo, but I've seen the entrance. The Cody Vader is now a cube that is not as tall as Cody is. It's very good. And that has a ramp down to the actual ramp, and it's hilarious. That is very funny. I'll have to take a look. I think that like there are going to be people that go over. I had said, to me, the first person was going to be Bryan Danielson, because not Bryan Danielson. What am I saying? Not Bryan Danielson. I forget. There was somebody I thought who was going to retire and was from in-ring competition and was going to end up in WWE. Actually, honestly, Bryan Danielson coming back as Daniel Bryan is a thing that's going to happen, because he's going to be a Hall of Famer. So at some point, he's going to come back and wrestle. He's going to have a part-time contract for big money and come back as Daniel Bryan, because it'll sell a bunch of merch. So like Daniel Bryan's going to have another run. He still, is going to do it. Like that's going to happen. That's not like a thing that is like, he's not an AEW for lifer or anything. MJF and The Miz will tag before they're done wrestling. Oh yeah, that feels like a tag team. That's one of those tag teams that should break up any day, and they'll just tease the breakups, and then they'll just keep winning, and they'll be like, no, we like each other for a really long time. They'll go too long. Yeah. Let's see. Anything else about that? The New Day. Feeling like they should have had more. Chad Gable shouldn't have to lose his name because of Gable Stevenson. That's my opinion. That Chad Gable should not change his name for Gable Stevenson. I don't care if Gable Stevenson is a hot prospect. Chad Gable fucking tried to make Shorty G work. He does whatever they give him. He's great in the ring. He's never going to get the respect he deserves. He shouldn't have to change his in-ring name because of some other dude who's coming in. That's my opinion on that one. I just think it's, I don't know. I just don't think it's a good call. Well, this is looking pretty good right here. We are continuing with this build here. Look at the actual car and seeing like, oh, okay, that goes there, this goes there. All right, that's this part. I'm like seeing how it looks as we're building it. When did he become Chad Gable again? Didn't he lose one of those names? So, Chad Gable was Shorty G for a while, because they wanted to play up the idea that he was I forget the exact reasons. It was a bunch of terrible reasons. Anyway, they were like, "Oh yeah, Shorty G. That's this guy's name." It sucked. It terrible. But anyway, they wanted to give him a bad gimmick that he was because he was short because he's short. They were like, "We'll do that," and then eventually he dropped it around like when he started like helping other people, and then like he turned face again very briefly because Shorty G was like a face character, but now he's a heel. And he's got Alpha Academy, and he's in a tag team, and it's whatever. He's a very good wrestler, and I appreciate the work he does. Took me a long time to realize that this is the engines in the back of this car, huh? Because they have working on the back here, and that was supposed to be the engine because you can see it through the there. I was like, oh, I don't know enough about this vehicle to know that, so that's fun. Let's see, put this here. I guess that's Wrestle Talk. I think that's my Wrestle Talk for tonight. If other stuff comes up in conversation, we'll jump in on it. But, I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but there was a big wrestle event, so sometimes it's good to chat about those things. Let's see. Other things we can talk about tonight. Of course, in the second hour, after the pause for the cause, which is coming up in a bit, we will chat about a new anime that debuted because we're in the new parts of the season. So we'll talk about a new show, which is, of course, an isekai, but an interesting one that I have not read the manga for, but I might, check it out. And, of course, a manga that I'm reading, which is also an isekai, but a real weird one. It's a real weird one that I've wanted to talk about for a bit. Okay, technically the C8 is a mid-engine car. Okay, Arctic Sloth. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, okay, so it's like, that's not part of it's part of the engine, but mostly the engine is like down in here, I guess. Okay, I don't know. I don't know a lot about cars, is what I'll say. I do know that this has some decals that we're going to put on there. So we're going to apply a bunch of decals. We're going to use a spudger for this. You can use an X-Acto knife. I like using a spudger. You could also use your brick separator. Get your handy dandy brick separator. Tools of the trade here. But I do like using the spudger for this application. All right, so let's do 17 first. 17 is... One of these is 7. Okay, so yeah, there's two 17s, and we'll use that one there. I can't think of anyone outside of Porsche making rear-engine cars nowadays. Okay, well, there you go. Again, I don't pretend to know much of anything about that. So, sometimes when I'm doing Lego just for me, I am very careful and I take my sweet-ass time with applying decals. You can remove these a little bit here, so you can always work with it. I have an X-Acto knife if I want to peel them back. Most of the time, I am just going to apply it and make it look as nice as I can, but I'm not going to worry too much about it because otherwise this is real boring. Yes. Yes, the fact that Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston wore gear that basically, if the three of them with Big E were out there, it would be exactly what Big E was going to be wearing of it because it was in his style with the coats and singlet and all that. Yes, that was very cool, but also felt weird because they usually differentiate their style among them. They all work together, but they all have some separate elements. So that was interesting. And also maybe is the reason why the match that got cut for time ended up happening the next night, even though it was not a good match and also apparently cut for time. Its time cut during the thing. I think maybe because they showed off the outfits they had made specifically for WrestleMania, because of course that's the thing the New Day does, that were a tribute to Big E. All right, there was a tweet going around that was like, how close were you to I want to find the actual wording of it. It's about like, how close have you ever been to being in a cult? Was the actual tweet. Let's see. Um, okay, what's the closest you've ever been to being in a cult? Was asked by Ethan J. Weiss, uh, who is a scientist and cardiologist, uh, which is cool. I You look before you retweet. You gotta do your homework. Um, Anyway, there was a joke one because somebody was like, "Oh, didn't you help run League of Heels to Pope?" And he's like, "No, no, no. That's a marketing scheme, not uh, a cult, and it isn't a cult. We are not a cult. Um, we're also not a marketing scheme, but that's very funny. Um, and to me, it's like because Pope also said he did improv for a few years, which he did. He was in improv in Boston, and that is improv comedy and alt comedy is not a cult, but it does have cultish tendencies, and there are cultish behaviors involved in that. Indeed, and John, not a cult. As somebody that spent years in a pyramid scheme, I will tell you that yes, my one of my previous employers was a nonsense pyramid scheme because if you wanted stage time you had to take classes, and classes cost money, and you got to have coaches, and you should have the and even when you got on a house team you had to you had to pay for your coaches, and the coaches were on a list of pre-approved people, and those people eventually will be teachers, and you got to have teachers on the nights of performances and teachers on the weekends because that helps sell classes because students will come to those shows, and it all feeds into this thing, and your worth is all dependent on that, and it's also your life, and you're in your 20s, and it's a whole goddamn thing, and I had a real good time doing it, and I didn't make money in the cult, but I did, because it wasn't a cult, I didn't make money in the pyramid scheme, but I did survive in New York for many, many years working that job and various other jobs that led to that. UCB means a lot, still means a lot to me, but it was a low level pyramid scheme, and I'm aware of that. My partner, says John, was previously in an actual cult, so people throwing the word around online lightly always trips my radar. And I agree. I think that the jokes about it aren't fun, but it is good to be aware, especially as a young person, right? As a young person, I hope young people are reading the responses to that, right? Looking at the replies, looking at the quote retweets, because sometimes it's just you just think you met some fucking cool people, right? I remember talking to a friend about one of their roommates, and it was very clear that they had gotten involved in an actual like cult it was a pyramid scheme, but also it was a thing that was like borrowing money from people and getting people involved, and it was it very much was like you know uh, oh, if people are angry about what you're doing here, they don't understand. You need to cut those people out of your life. And it was this like really serious thing that started with her just like hearing from somebody that this would be good for her, that it was better than, it was another thing that actors do is they go to these workshops because they're like empowering. Um, I hope young people are just critical in general, but yeah, talking to more people and learning from experiences outside of your groups are important. Yeah, but like, and also sometimes you want to hear from people that was like, hey, yeah, if people you've barely met want you to go to another state with them, you should at least be like, huh, is that something I want to do? Like, in my general opinion, you got to know some people real well before you go to any island. Even if it is you and 11 of your queer friends are going to go to a particularly gay friendly island for a fun weekend in the summer, you still should be like critical of that and make sure these are people you know and trust before you go to any island with people, because because that's the thing, right? Like people go like, oh, how could you get catfished? Oh, how could you get scammed? Or how could you fall for this? And it's like, well, there are people in your life who fucked up. Like, it happens. That sounds like the setup to an actual horror movie. Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing, like, right? It's just like, don't go to an island. I think, like, that's how you end up in a survival game. or in a cult. Um, be careful of a big thing about my time at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater and in the New York comedy community is it is that like weird competitiveness. The Arctic sauce says I refuse to be eaten or sacrificed. What about fire islands? Yeah, I mean just like I said, like go into a cool island with your friends is very neat, but you also just got to be like yeah, don't go to Firefest. Um, yeah, it's just something to be careful and to look out for. I think that especially like I said, young people, it if you are going to travel internationally and they say we have to hold your passport for you, you say no, thank you, I'm not going, because that's how you get stuck into servitude. Because it's not slavery, but they have your fucking passport, and so you were stuck there. Thank you for the follow, Nick. Appreciate that. Nick 6266 66669. Nice. Welcome. But yeah, that common sense stuff is the things that and I've certainly done some foolish things and made some mistakes in my day. But also, I certainly wasn't through the arts and through being. I don't kind of want to get sneakers. Says your voice is not your passport. Yes, I have definitely been approached by people that I'm like, this is something's fishy about you. I don't like the vibe. Sometimes that's through music. Oh yeah, we're in a bag too. So we got some extra pieces here we don't need. We're just gonna shove them aside. We'll get rid of all the extra there. But yeah, well, now we can sort through bag two because we put our decals on here, and we're gonna sort through all of this and do a light knolling. We of course make sure our bag is empty. We want to make sure we got all the pieces out of our bag. Throw the bag aside, put a place I can reach it. These wheels already have, we don't have to put the wheels together, they're already there, which is nice. But yeah, I'm going to sort through all this in a little bit. I think most of us are lucky that we survived intact despite our mistakes. Yeah, like my mistakes were rarely life-threatening, although occasionally there were some bad choices made along the way. But generally, I have a pretty good. Here's the thing: I have a pretty good bullshit radar, and also I'm allergic to bullshit. It's like when the night reaches the point where I gotta go, I'm gonna go. I don't stick around to find out. Like I would close down a bar. It was the bar we liked, and we were there, and we were hanging out. Next thing you know, doors are closed. We're just hanging out. They're not letting anybody else come in. We're just gonna chill. We know the owner, we know the bartenders, sure. But when it was like 4 a.m. and it was like, oh, bar's closed, we're gonna go to this other place. We're gonna all get in a cab. We're gonna get a bunch of cabs and go to this other place in Queens. One of us has heard is cool. I'm not going to that. I'm good. And that is like my no, you know what? I don't want an adventure that ends at us getting breakfast at 10 in the morning. I have work tomorrow at 9 in the morning. So, no, I'm good. But I've had that, like I said, allergic to bullshit behavior thing, for a very long time. And that has been incredibly helpful for me to survive. And, to not get into a van with someone that I met at a party because they were like, we're going to Massachusetts? I'm not going to fucking Massachusetts with you. I don't know you. That's not happening. You could be cool, and maybe I missed out on a great time, but also I lived in a very fucking cool city, and I said no to cool shit all the time because there was always more cool shit. It's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Sometimes I'd be like, a good friend of mine would be like, hey, you want to go to Six Flags on Saturday? And it would be Thursday. I'd be like, fuck yeah, let's rent a car and go to Six Flags. That sounds rad. That to me is way more fun than, that was the thing to be like, yes. But the, hey, you seem cool. You should come hang out with us. We're going, we're going to go break into an insane asylum, closed mental hospital. And I'd be like, no, I don't know you, and I don't want to break the law. Fuck off. I'm glad that I was born before the internet got mainstream so I could learn to be critical of potential bullshit. Yeah, I mean, the internet definitely, like, hey, also some people are just always, they always were online and they always had a high understanding. I was at an age where, I will say this, too many people had my home phone number who I didn't know that well because I was a teenager and giving my phone number out to other people. That was foolish of me. Wish I hadn't done that as a young person, because because it was the '90s and I didn't think about it. Because I have a phone card. I'll call you. Like, sure. That shouldn't have done that. That was silly. Oh, we dropped some frames there. Sorry about that, everybody. But anyway, luckily it all worked out. I'm going to go back here to the intro screen. Folks, if you're new to the stream, if you came over with a Bad Gumbo, came over with Jason. John says, I remember my mom learning that I was playing online games with people in the late 90s, being like, you don't know these people. True. How many bears were there in the phone book? Yeah, I mean, I guess people really wanted to. I mean, those people probably didn't know my last name at the time because I was using character names for AOL stuff because I was playing a lot of games. They probably knew my first name, but that was right before Pat Baer became my nickname at work and thus my name everywhere. Anyway, if you're new to the stream or, for whatever reason, or just, haven't been here in a while, this is the pause for the cause. I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. All of these things that I'm going to be talking about here are optional. None of these things are things you have to do. Aristofan just gifted a sub, which fucking rules. Thank you so much. Tony the Swordsman, enjoy it. I don't know if you're here tonight, Tony, but you're around a lot. We appreciate that. But let's applause for Aristofan. Thank you, Aristofan. Appreciate that. We are now at 45. So now I have to update the subs. Where it is? There it is. Okay. Got to update this to now. Our new thing is we're trying to do 40. We're now at 45 out of 50. The goal is 50. If we can get to 50, that would be rad. Again, we don't have tonight, but it was awesome that we had 7 gifted subs tonight. That fucking rules. So thank you very much for that. Anyway, I'm going to talk about ways you can support the channel. That's one way. Becoming a subscriber, using Cash Money or your Prime Gaming Token. We had people renew with Prime and renew with Cash. That's always appreciated. Gifted subs. You can join the gift sub leaderboard. We had Arctic Sloth gift 5 subs and Dirty and Aristofan each gift 1. This is so rad. Thank you very much. Also, we had some bits. The bits leaderboard right now is Lord Crashington. Thank you very much for that. Subscribing is the easy way to support what I do here. I'm going to talk for a couple minutes about ways you can support the channel, and then we'll get back into Lego building and get into bag 2 of this kit. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, yeah. That is an easy way to get emotes. You don't see ads when you're watching the stream, which is nice. I also have a Patreon, patreon.com/PatBaer. I'm currently at $138 a month, which fucking rules. Don't get me wrong. My next goal is $150 a month, and that'll mean that instead of once a month, my $3, $5, $10 patrons can vote on what I do on a Wednesday stream. When we hit $150 a month, that'll go twice a month. So it'll be the second and fourth Wednesday of the month will be voted on. Speaking of which, I'll promote that this Wednesday I'm playing Jackbox Party Pack 8 with chat, so come back for that. That's going to be a good time. Please be in chat for that. Jackbox is weird when there's not people watching and participating. But anyway, that's Wednesday. But yeah, I got a Patreon, different tiers, different rewards for the different tiers. Check it out. It's just an alternative to this. I also have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/PatBaer is my YouTube. Subscribing is free, of course, but you could become a member at youtube.com/PatBaer. And for $2 a month, you get my Wednesday videos on Tuesday. I put a new Wednesday video up every week, and then you just get that a day early. So you'd get that tomorrow if you signed up for that. That's obviously an optional thing. And direct donations, because if those monthly options don't interest you, oh, nice. Well, I'm glad to hear that. You're welcome to come hang out on Wednesday for that. Yeah, we'll play some some various games. We'll focus mostly on that party pack because it's the latest one that came out, and there's some good ones in it. Direct donations is another thing you can do. Coffee or PayPal, directly through PayPal. Yeah, if you just want to do a one-time donation, help me buy model kits and Lego sets. Everything you donate, be it through that or through Patreon, through YouTube, which also includes AdSense, if I run some ads, if people watch those ads, and Patreon and Twitch, all goes into a fund. I take money out of that fund and I buy stuff. I bought this Lego set with that with those funds, and I appreciate it very much. Everybody that helps me out, however you can, even just spread the word. Hit the follow button if you haven't already. We are close to 1,700 followers, that's a big stupid number. I think we're 7 followers away from that. That's very fun. Anyway, those are all monetary ways. Now, this Lego set was voted by my $10 patrons on what I should build next. But if you want to decide what I build next, you can buy something from my Amazon wish list, and then it'll jump the queue. Because I've got a bunch of high grades waiting for me to build them, but I won't build those. I'll instead build the thing that you bought. I've got Lego sets, model kits, inexpensive kits, expensive kits, kits that are on sale, kits that are pre-order. There's a glue kit, the RX-7. Speaking of cars, from Initial D, the very cool car there, that I would be happy to build in the 132 scale. As again, that requires liquid cement, so that'll be. I don't mind doing those kits. I like doing those kits now and again. They're stressful, but I do like them. Inexpensive kits, very expensive kits, kits that I would be happy to build, and some gear. I got some gear at the bottom. Some of the gear would be very helpful, like a chair that is not the garbage chair that I currently sit in, but also like $50 in a GameStop card so that I can buy the PC version of WWE 2K22. That's not necessary for what I do here, but that's the only way I'm going to buy that game, because I'm not going to spend $60 my own money. I'll chip in the $10. That's the thing. But again, I shoot a video about it. It jumps the queue. Check out my wish list if you'd like to help me out that way. USA Gundam Store is an alternative to that, in that you can just buy a gift card to USA Gundam Store, then send me a DM on Twitter. It's more complicated, but that's an alternative to Amazon, and it's important to have that. Also, an alternative to Amazon is Throne. Way less stuff on my Throne list because they are a startup. Throne is awesome because they focus on the security of the people who are putting up lists. So, like, I do stuff under my own name, Pat Baer, but many people make content on the internet under a pseudonym, and the Throne protects where they're from, where the stuff is being sent to, what their name is, all of that. It's really good. So people that work, especially in the adult entertainment, can be protected, and that fucking kicks ass. So I do, I got a small little list there. They have a couple things that are pretty neat, and some gear and stuff that I have on that list. I have a Discord. We're going to get back to building in just a minute. Got a couple more things to share with you. I got a Discord. Join my Discord. I post build photos at the end of every stream. People post stuff they're working on. Nice little community of folks. Always fun over there. A couple of video links for you to check out. Pat Baer's Anime Club. This was recorded on my here on Twitch. It's me talking about the winter anime season, and then giving a preview of the spring season, which just started on Friday. So talking about that. It's a long video, but if you want to see some stuff you may have missed out. And then Do You Remembaer is my Wednesday video series. Every Wednesday I put a new video up. It's a yearly project. This year the project is Do You Remembaer, where I read an interesting article, to me anyway, try to memorize it the best I can, and then record it and say all the things I can remember. I'm talking about the Nymo tube. The Nymo tube is a old piece of technology that looks cool and futuristic, even though it is very old. It's a short little video of me talking about that, because there's not a lot to say about the Nymo tube, but it was cool to chat about it. I have a new one coming out on Wednesday, of course, because new video. And I think that one's real good. I think that ended up being a good video about a fascinating person. So check those out. I'm going to drink some water. We're going to talk about a manga, and then we're going to talk about an anime. Let me get this all loaded up. and get ready to go. And then we're gonna back to we're gonna start knolling bag 2 of our kit here, so that we can keep working on this car. So first, I'm going to dramatically transition to the shot again. My allergies are completely whooping my ass this week, and I'm gonna do some stuff in the yard tomorrow. So I was like, ugh. Anyway, I did a little bit in the yard today too. Didn't like it. Anyway, I got a manga to read that I've been reading. I should say that I want to talk about as we. Our next step is to knoll this bag. We're just gonna separate the parts by color. And we'll kind of do a loose separation of this. And all we need, most of these parts are going to go in here, along with a few extras. So yeah, we're just going to separate by color, and then we'll get into the build. And I can do this while I talk about Reborn is a Barrier Master. So Reborn is a Barrier Master it's an isekai. It's a guy who dies, and he is reborn as a young person. I think he's 6 when he's reborn. And he is a slave. And because of his skill, which is Barrier Master, which is he creates barriers that are impenetrable, he is basically taken in by a family and then eventually adopted by that family. And he ends up earning his freedom. He takes their name, and he ends up with a pretty great life. He's trained by an incredibly talented person who is very strict with him, but clearly talented. And there's a young woman that he's in charge of protecting that is around his age, and they have a very nice relationship. And he got lucky. He feels very lucky. It helps that he is an isekai character, so he is on his second life and has a lot of accumulated knowledge that is helpful, especially when he's young. And it's one of those things where you're like, this is kind of a different isekai. This is like a different style of isekai, because it's like it's certainly like slower, and he's certainly powerful, but he's not like the most powerful thing in the world, and things don't always go right. But this family life is interesting. And then hey, that ends. And I was getting ready to talk about this series when I got to the part where that ended. And then I was like, oh, wow, okay. Like, everything goes bad, and he's alone. And I won't get into specifics about what the events there, but he's alone now. And he has to forge a new path for himself. And we're in the new path version of it, where he's like gone to a different place, and he's kind of starting over. And he helps somebody along the way, and there's some like misunderstandings, and that are kind of funny, but not like super like a haha funny. Most are like, oh, weird funny. But really recently, he has brought in someone who's a demon that he's taking care of, looking after this, hiding who she is, and then also, he ended up purchasing a slave to give her a second chance, and he wants to free her because part of his abilities that he has beyond his regular abilities are that he can remove. He has someone in his party that can remove curses, because as soon as everything went bad and he had like the next chapter of his life started, he met a fox spirit. And he saved the fox spirit's life, and also he met a unicorn, Pegasus. That's right, it's a unicorn that hides its wings and is also a Pegasus. And also the fox can talk, so we got our talking animal friend. But yeah, so basically this went from like this sad story about this guy that has like a found family and is like turning his life around, and then it's all taken away from him. And now he has like 2 girls that live with him. One that considers him his savior, and the other that it literally, like still feels like a slave around him. And then also a fun talking animal. And there's some fucking intrigue happening, and there's some like actual dark stuff and political stuff that's happening. But it's one of those things where I was like, did the author decide they wanted to do a different isekai because it feels disjointed. It feels like two different stories. I know it's not, and it's like it feels like this weird thing where it's like, I don't want to do this story anymore. I want to do like a traditional isekai, like a modern traditional isekai, where he's like goes on adventures and he's like gets to explore the world and he's got like female companions that are cute and fun and dependent on him, and it's just like very strange. So I'm very mixed about Reborn as a barrier master. It's a weird series. I don't know if I kind of like where it is now. I definitely was more engaged with where it was. I do wonder if if the change in subject matter turned some people off and pushed some people away. Because it didn't for me, but it certainly, I was tempted to be like, I don't know if I want to keep watching or keep reading this. Sometimes I say watching when I'm at reading. All right, so now we're going to continue working on this car here because I got bag 2 pretty much knolled, so we'll do that. And then we'll continue on building this thing. Gotta put these here. We need those there. So yeah, that is Reborn as a barrier master. Again, I'm gonna keep reading it. I'm not giving up on it. Sometimes I do. I reach the like 7 chapters in. Time to talk about it. This is many chapters in, right? Because like I said, let me see if I can find how many chapters this thing has had. Oh yeah, we're at 27 chapters, and I feel like things didn't really change until like chapter 8 or so. That like, yeah, I think chapter 8 was when like this huge event took place. So it basically did take its time before it really got weird. So yeah, mixed feelings on that one. But if what I said interested you, I would say seek it out. And now we'll switch over to only one anime to talk about this week. I gotta find some stuff. Probably what's gonna happen is because I don't know yet. Right now, if everything that I want to watch that comes out on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, if everything I want to watch ends up getting picked up, that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows. I'm not going to talk about 7 shows on Thursdays. So most likely one of those I'll end up watching later and I'll be talking about on Monday. Again, also, like I said, there are 3 shows. I just don't know if they're going to end up getting picked up by anybody. High Dive does say High Dive has a schedule up and hasn't made some announcements, but they like their Tuesday says there are no releases on this date. Wednesday says no new episodes today. Check back often for updates. So that tells me that one of the Wednesday shows that doesn't have anybody that nobody's picked up, they might be picking up one of them. So RPG Fudusan or Demion might get picked up. Here's hoping one of them does, because the RPG Fudusan feels like it would be a fun show. That's the what happens when the Demon Lord is defeated and you were in school to be a magician, a mage. Well, then you end up in real estate, and it's just some cute girls helping people find houses in a fantasy world. And I'd like to see that anime because it sounds fun. The anime I'm talking about right now that is a Sunday show that I watch is called Trapped in a Dating Sim. The world of Otome games is tough for mobs. Trapped in a Dating Sim is an isekai, as you could probably guess. It is a simple explanation. And Mob will explain that. If you don't know Mob, our main character died and has been reborn. Oh, I put these on wrong. Put these stickers on wrong. Sorry, folks. I just realized that the decals were put on from the overhead, and now that I look from the side, I realize I put these on wrong. So I gotta fix these. Hopefully they'll stay on after all that. But yeah, these stickers are supposed to go on the sides of the kit, not the tops of the kit. I didn't understand that. Or set, I should say. Anyway, moving on again. So our main character played this dating game. Now, I think it's very fun. He was forced into playing this Otome, this dating game, Um, he was forced to do it. He basically got blackmailed by his younger sister to finish this game, and he did not have a good time doing it. And you get to see him play the game, and he's like, all these guys are vapid. The main character is clearly like lying, and he even comments, he's like, "Why is it so hard? Why are the fights so difficult? Why are there mechs in this?" And he comments, he thinks that like, oh, maybe the studio that made it normally makes games targeted at boys. Which explains why there are mechs in the show later, and there's science, weird technology, and also spells and all that. And he's like, okay, well, all right, it's very clear that there's some other stuff going on. You know, like, who made this game? He's complaining about it. He finishes it. The thing is, he did it really quickly, and he's not feeling well. So he's like, I'm going to go eat. And instead of being summoned or going to sleep and waking up, now we don't know why he got summoned, or why he got reborn there. We do know that he did die. He fell down the stairs and died because he was not in the right state to step there. And he has the realization, is this how I'm going to die? Oh no. And then he wakes up and he is a young child on a floating island, and he's in the video game world. And they also explain something that I think is really clever. They do a clever explanation here of saying basically, when he was first there, he was like, okay, I'm going to train really hard because even though I'm a minor character, like I don't remember my character from the video game. I don't even know if I went to the academy that everyone goes to, but I'm going to like figure stuff out, and I'm going to like, understand what I need to do, and I'm going to train really hard so that way he leveled up. And then he just got used to being a farmer. He likes his brother. He likes his parents. He doesn't like his stepmother, but like, whatever. What are you going to do? But he kind of got used to it until he found out that he needs to get married because in this world, women are in charge. So he eventually needs to get married, and he's going to go to the academy and he's going to find a wife. That's his basic thing. He knows the events of the game. He sped through the game, but he played it and he knows all the events. So he goes out and he finds fortune. He basically finds something that in the game, the heroine, the main character, finds, and he's just like, okay, I'm going to find that now. And we'll see where this goes. There's some characters that get introduced that I don't remember from when he was playing the game at the beginning of the episode that I'm interested in seeing who they are because they're well drawn, but I don't remember them. There's like the guys that eventually all become obsessed with the heroine, and then there's the girl who is like the rich girl that is mean to the heroine that thinks she should be the center. She's the villainess. We know those characters are going to be there. And then, like, what happens when you know what the plot is and you know all the character motivations and you know, like, you have a cool ship. Oh, also, he found the ship that he had unlocked in the game using real money. So he was like, I'm going to go get my ship. And that has an AI counterpart robot that he, like, has to take over and defeat. And that robot has like knowledge of the world, which will be beneficial to him certainly. And he got a bunch of riches and stuff because he now has a ship that he used. The ship that was really overpowered in the areas that he was living in, so he could get treasure and all that and level up. So it'll be interesting to see. I think it's mostly going to take place at the school because it is a dating sim or an anime based on. With the idea of that the world is based on a dating sim. So it'll be interesting to see what this mob character, this no-name character, ends up pulling off, like what he can pull off. I am optimistic about it. Also, you know me, I'm a sucker for mech anime, and there's going to be, this season right now, there's only this, and there might be some mechs in Date Alive Season 4, because sometimes that show has mecha in it. But I don't want to watch that show because I really don't like Date Alive. So I think he got blackmailed into a dating sim and he paid real money on it. Yeah, sounds like he liked the game more than he liked to admit. So Arctic Sloth, we don't know what we can infer, because his younger sister was like, I'll tell mom you know what, and then he agreed to play the game and beat the game for her and give an all percent clear. So we don't, it's never stated exactly what the you know what is. We have to infer that it was serious enough and private enough that he was willing to do that. And maybe someday we'll find out what that was, why he went through and did it. But yeah, we see him be very frustrated with the game, which I also appreciate. Because sometimes those games are, some dating sims are weirdly difficult and just like very strange. Like we talked on this stream, we talked about Muv-Luv. The Muv-Luv visual novels, like this is a dating sim that's different from visual novel, but some of the visual novels can be very difficult to complete. And regular old dating sims that are either more in RPG dating sims. Yeah, sometimes people start flexing their other muscles, or it's adapted from another thing. And those can be surprisingly complex and hard to beat. So yeah, I'm going to keep watching this one. I like the premise. Once we start seeing these other characters interact with them, that does tend to make a break for me. But as far as an isekai goes, I mean, I'm going to be watching, I guess I'm watching 4 isekai right now. Huh. Yeah. Executioner I'm watching, which I count as an isekai. The main character isn't, but the other main character is been isekai, so I think that counts because the whole premise is about people that get isekai and then she's supposed to kill them. So Executioner, Way of Life, this one, Trapped in a Dating Sim, Skeleton Knight in Another World I'm going to be watching, and I guess that's 3. And then Greatest Demon Lord is a reincarnation, but on isekai. And Rising the Shield Hero, I'm not going to be watching that weekly. So that is the 4th one I'll be watching. It's just I won't be watching that one every week because I don't enjoy watching that show. Most of the time, I want to fast forward through it. I don't want to review it. I want to watch those like 4 episodes in 4 episodes at a time, basically. How many isekai do you think you could follow simultaneously? There's a season where I watched a lot of them. I have a Pat Bear's Anime Club. Let me see. There was a season where there were like 11 isekai, and I watched most of them. Let me actually look and see. I can't remember the exact number. Obviously, I'm not going to watch the video, but I can look it up and see. I can do Pepper's Anime Club there. Okay, we got here. Let's see. Anime news. Other ranking on games. What to watch. Some wrap up. Okay. Summer of 2021. There were 11 isekai. I don't remember how many. I don't remember how many I watched. I'm going to quickly click on it. You might hear my voice if I don't pause the audio there. Let me quickly. I made a tier maker list of it, so let's see. I watched. Let me really quickly. I watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I watched 8 out of 11 isekai that I had in one summer. So yeah. So that's the most I watched in one season was 8. And Great Jahi, half of it was like into the next season, so that 7.5 really. But yeah, so that's it. That my answer is 8. I watched 8 out of 11. Yeah, because there were like at least one of them. One of them I watched the last episode of because I don't want to hate watch. I'm standing on a million lives, but it's not good. 8 is 6 more than I've seen simultaneously. That 2021, the summer 2021, that was just, there were so many isekai. And like, the thing is, some of those are atypical. Like Great Jahi is an isekai, but it's it on our world. So some people argue that. Welcome to Demon School Irma-kun is a comedy and it just so happens the main character is from Earth and is in the Nether realm or Netherworld, and some people like to argue that that is not an isekai, that hell doesn't count as a different world, and I'm like, yeah, definitely that's a fucking isekai. Um, but that one is like a comedy. Uh, so different vibes, and then there were plenty that season that were just action oriented and very traditional. But yeah, I have watched. It is a subgenre that I don't dislike, even if I do dislike some of the most popular ones in the subgenre. Like Rising the Shield Hero, I think the action scenes are really well drawn and animated. I think there's like very cool, but I don't love how these supporting characters interact with the main character. And I used to be really into the idea of, oh, look at him, he got betrayed and things aren't going well for him and he's got to like fight for survival and do all this stuff. And that's so different because most of the time people get isekai and it's just like, we're going on a grand adventure. And then I read a lot more isekai, and like there are a lot of stories that start with the main character getting betrayed or abandoned by the people that summoned him, like accidental summonings and all that, or betrayals, or escaping from a situation. Um, like that happens more than it doesn't in my right now anyway. So like I'm less engaged in Shield Hero now than I was before, because now I'm like I have more context for it and it doesn't feel as unique, whereas at the time it felt very unique. I'm going to mute my mic for just 1 second. We'll go to the B right. No, we don't have that. Anyway, I'm going to mute my mic for a second, and I'm going to blow my nose. So I'll be back in a second. Just didn't want anybody. I don't care if you looked at me as I blew my nose, but I just didn't want you to hear it. That's not nice. You don't need that. All right, we're gonna put some more decals on this thing here. The number 4, huh? All right, it's the number 4. We could have put this on the actual. Okay, that's 21. Could have put this on the piece before we stick it on, but whatever. Let's see. I'm looking forward to some anime coming up. The trees are doing the flower stuff outside my apartment. It looks pretty, but allergies right now are horrendous. Yeah, Arctic. My allergies are definitely been kicking my ass. I'm still taking proper good medication to help with it, but I mean, it's just like some of my big exercise is either working in the yard or going on walks, and it's just been tough. And we've had a dip where like some days it's 50 degrees, some days it's 70 degrees, and that's not good for my nose either. I'm really looking forward to the spring being just fading into summer. We had an early spring here as well, and that definitely doesn't help. My allergies still aren't as bad as the worst time they've ever been in my life. I lived in Inwood, New York, which is right by a national forest. So not a park, an actual forest. And the wind would just blow pollen at my window all spring. And it was awful. I felt terrible. And I didn't have an air conditioner, so I still had to have a fan going. And it was bad. It's supposed to be 95 tomorrow, and I'm not a fan. Yikes. That sucks, Lashbrook. That's too hot. And of course, John says, my allergies have been messed up for 3 months. New house is closer to a lot more farmland and nature. Yeah, your body has to kind of get adapted to your new environment. That can be rough. Like, I lived in New York, and there were trees on my street in Brooklyn, but it wasn't really the suburbs the same way that this is the suburbs here. And there's just a lot of like pollen. And I had I was renting an apartment. I would shovel the snow a little bit on the walk, the steps, like when I got back from work late at night to make it easier for my landlord. But that was just me being nice. I didn't have to do any lawn care. And, that even wearing a ventilation mask and and taking allergy medication, mowing the lawn still kind of puts me on my ass. Might hit 60 tomorrow. We're supposed to get rain throughout the rest of the week. I think I'm getting rain tomorrow too. You know what? I guess I'm gonna be a real cool dude and check out the weather forecast right now, because I keep forgetting to. We finished our decals on this side, so we're gonna go and do the same parts we just put on the other side there, and then, which will eventually lead to more decals. Let's see what we got going on here. Tomorrow looking like, we're in the high 60s, low 70s during the day, and it's going to rain tomorrow night. Scattered showers in the evening, and it's going to rain all night. Okay, thunderstorms. Hey, we're getting thunderstorms over here tomorrow. That should be great. Hopefully they don't start until I go to bed, and then I will sleep through them, because that is a superpower of mine. Don't wake up to weather. I almost never wake up to weather. Sometimes the wind is like, yikes. Pat getting that good weather. I love me a nice thunderstorm. I mean, I prefer a thunderstorm when I'm not streaming, because then I don't have to worry about the cable going out or something when there's a storm. So I don't mind it on a Tuesday night. If it's gonna have to, Ghost Val's also gonna get some thunderstorms. If it's gonna do it, if I'm gonna get a thunderstorm activity, I'd prefer it on a night where I didn't stream. That's just better off. Looking ahead at anime to talk about on Thursday. I'm quitting Heroing, which is going to be on High Dive, which is a fantasy series about a person who defeated a demon lord, but doesn't have a place for him among the other humans, because they're suspicious or scared or threatened by him, and so he ends up enlisting the demon lord army, and it's got some comedic elements to it. He's basically just trying to help them out, so also feeling wanted, and then also theoretically preventing future conflicts by having both of them be at good strength, and him just also wanting to feel wanted, which is nice. We're gonna do some of the front part here. We can do that. So that's on Tuesday. I'll be checking that out. That's on High Dive. Wednesday, Greatest Demon Lord is Reborn is a typical nobody. Another reincarnation story, fantasy story that I will be checking out. I like this manga. It's fine. I mean, it's a totally fine show. Hopefully the animation is good. And it doesn't rely too much on annoying CGI. I should say that. I missed to say that about the dating sim, Trapped in a Dating Sim. The CGI was just on robots so far and didn't look bad. So that's nice. All the other animation looked pretty damn good. And then I mentioned RPG Fudusan, which as of time of this recording does not have a released or announced platform release. I hope that it gets picked up and licensed, but again, don't know if it is. Where does this one long piece go? There's a long piece. Oh, it goes there. I see where that goes. It goes here. Hell yeah. And then Demon, or Diamond, yeah, Demon, Deimon, Demon, is the story. I talked about this before. That this one I'm really interested in the idea of. Guy comes home thinking that he's going to take over the family business because his dad is hurt in the hospital, but there's a precocious youth who is apparently going to take over, and he has been tasked with being her like guardian, and so that just seems like kind of lighthearted and about food and friendship and slice of life, and RPG Fudusan is the only like girls doing stuff that isn't like. There's a heel girl one, but that non-idol cute girls doing stuff show. So I was like, I guess I'll take a look at that. I hope someone picks that up. That sounds cute, but also that feels like the one most likely to not get picked up. Except for on Thursday, we got Skeleton Knight, which I'm very excited about. This one's been delayed a bunch. This one got delayed because other shows got delayed because of the pandemic, so it kept getting delayed. And guy's in a skeleton. He's a human skeleton. He was playing a video game, and then he woke up, and now he's inside the video game. But it's reality, and he's now a skeleton man, and he goes on some adventures. He got a cute animal companion, got some fun friends. Later, I mean, probably not in these 12 episodes. We won't see him meet, because there's a lot of it. We won't see him meet a cool dragon. He does meet a cool dragon. It is fun. The trailer shows the most not cool violent moment of the show, which is that he does interrupt an attempted sexual assault by cutting a person in half who was attempting to assault someone else, which is like, is a warning, that is a scene that is in the trailer, is in the first episode. That is the thing that I remember from the particular anime or the manga that I had read. And then Miss Corporate Slave wants to be healed by a lowly spirit. That one, I think, will have a different name if it gets picked up. But I bet that one doesn't get picked up. Because it's... again, sorry about that, folks. Had some dropped frames there and a bad connection for a moment. Looks like we're back. Sorry about that, y'all. That one I bet doesn't get picked up because it's such a weird premise that I bet nobody gets it. Maybe someone will, but I doubt anyone's going to pick that up. And then I'm Kodama Kawashiri, which was on a couple weeks break, is back. That's a 3-minute-long episode, but actually 1 minute of content. That's coming back, and that will be cool. So yeah, most likely, at least one of those shows will not actually get picked up by anybody, and I won't see it. And then also, I got to figure out what shows I actually save and talk about on Monday, because I can't talk. If all of them do get picked up, that's, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shows, and I'm not interested in talking about 7 shows between Tuesday and Thursday. I'm just not interested in watching all of those. Even if one of them is, again, very short. There's very little that happens in Kodama Kawashiri. But still, that's too much. Too much show for me to watch. This is not a decal. This was printed. This is a screen print here. It's a rare thing when you get that, but it looks good. I ended up watching Healer Girl today when I thought it was the other Healer anime. It was pretty okay. Yeah, that also might be a thing I do next Monday, is I watch the shows I haven't checked out. I'm not interested in either Healer. There is the show about the elf healer who is rude, and I bounced right off that manga. I think I got through 2 chapters of that, and I was like, this is never gonna get. I'm never going to enjoy this. And then the other one is like a bunch of girls that heal, and I don't quite understand. I don't know the premise well enough, but you're saying that one was pretty okay. Yeah, I haven't checked that out. I might check that out. That might go into a rotation. That might just be... Monday might just be where I check out the ones that I'm like, nah, I don't think... I mean, I just don't think I'm going to watch an anime about boys playing badminton or soccer. I just don't think that's going to happen. And there's also there's a bunch of sports this season that I generally have no interest in sports anime. I have enjoyed some sports anime in the past, but that is, like I said, I can't necessarily see myself getting invested in a badminton anime. I don't know. Youth badminton. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a bunch of stuff. If I look at Annie chart about what did I miss today? Also, I need to say it here. Attack on Titan final season part 2 ended today, or ended on Sunday. And guess what? Part 3 comes out next January. It the final season of Attack on Titan is now at least 3 parts, and they don't. It's so fucking. Oh god, it's so awful for fans of that because the final season didn't say the final season part 1. Back in 2020, December of 2020, they were hyping up because it was 16 episodes. The first part of the final season was 16 episodes, so it started airing in December, and they were like like, oh, it's going to be more episodes than 12, and we're not going to say how many. And then it was like, stick around for part 2 coming in January 2022, which is now and just ended. And then they were like, okay, part 3 coming out in it's going to be like 52 episodes. Because like I said, it was 16 the first part is 16. The second part is 12. So that's 18 episodes. Or sorry, that's 28 episodes. Most seasons are maybe 24. I feel bad for Attack on Titan fans who are just like, they have to wait a whole year. And who is to say that part 3 will be the last part? Arctic Sloth, I think it will be because, like, there's only so much manga left. Like, I'm not caught up on the manga because I'm not interested in that. But I think this is where it finishes up. Is part 3. But also there could be 4 parts. But the idea that the final season, even if the final season is just started in December 2020 and ends in March 2023, that's a nightmare. I'm so sorry for fans of of that series. Oh, what a nightmare. All right, we're gonna put this one decal on here, number 29. I think that'll be the last decal we do for right now, and then we'll figure out what else we got to do with this. But yeah, sorry Attack on Titan fans. I mean, congrats on having more anime, but no congrats on them doing a year in between. Really, just fucking milking it. Really, really dragging this shit out. Just not getting it. Not getting your anime when you want it. All right, so I didn't do this. Oh, okay, it goes like that. Cool, headlight on. Did a headlight. All right, we're gonna Money Machine Go Burr. Yeah, we are gonna call it quits on this kit for tonight. We'll continue this on Thursday. Of course, my next stream will be on Wednesday, so check that out. I'm gonna be playing Jackbox Party Pack 9 with chat. You can play all the games with me, so come back, check that out. Right now, we are going to raid. That is how we end every stream, is with a raid. We're going to find somebody cool to go hang out with. Again, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, I'll be back here working or playing Jackbox. And then on Thursday, I will be back continuing this. We'll finish this up and get started and, do most of, if not all of, the 69 Corvette. Nice. Let's see, who are we going to go raid? Yes, as M. John says, we always end with a raid. What's raid doing? Oh, hey, we rarely get to do this. Jordan, aka Ray FK, is working on a gunpla. He's doing he's doing the Leo S. Oh, nice. So we're gonna go raid Jordan. It's so rare that we go and raid a model kit builder. And Jordan is a variety streamer who occasionally does some model kit building. So that's great. So so let's see. We gotta do this, do that, and then. So yeah, so we're gonna go raid Jordan. Feel free to come along on this raid. He's great. His community is fantastic. Come back on Wednesday if you want to play some Jackbox with me, or if you don't and you just want to watch other people play Jackbox with me. And then on Thursday, back for more Lego. Thanks so much for being here. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Thanks for coming along on this raid, and I'll see you again. Bye, everybody. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.